Hey buddies, Mr. Pugly here, coming at you with another Borderlands 3 video. Today I'm going to be showing you the location of the black market machine and all the items inside. After I show you that, of course I'm going to showcase what each and every single weapon can do when we go back with our sanctuary, so make sure to stick around for that. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch on the top right. You have no idea how much helps me out, and let's get into it.
Legendary? Whoa! No way, dude!
So first things first, the location of the actual black market machine is going to be in Promethea, and then it's actually going to be on Electric City. Now, Electric City only has one fast travel location, but the actual location of the machine is right here. It's a bit of a far trek to get to, but if you're starting right off the front, like right here, it's going to take you about, I'd say like 20 seconds in total, and I'm pretty much just going to show you the way that you need to go to actually get to it. It doesn't take too long, but it is quite the location to get to, and it takes a tiny bit to actually get there, but it's fine. We're like halfway there anyways. If you guys remember, there's like a subway station that you can actually go to underneath in Electric City, and it's pretty much just there and like next to the area where you had to convince the, I don't remember, it was like a sister or something that you're on their side, or a bandit, but that doesn't matter. What's important is that the black market machine is right here, so I'm going to showcase it on the map once again. I'm going to zoom out all the way, and the items inside are going to be the Tiggs boom, which is pretty decent. Then we're going to get the flood. The flood is a decent Jacob. It's one of the few Jacobs that are actually automatic. It's really fun to use, I'll say that. It's not like spectacular. There's better Jacobs in the game. I'd definitely say the Tiggs boom is a better weapon overall, and it's very fun. I'll show you in a few moments. And then finally, there's a final weapon here that's not showing. It's called the Ripper, but I of course have it in my inventory. It's a very interesting SMG that's melee oriented. When you melee people, you'll deal more damage, which is very cool, but it's not really that great. And there's this weird interaction I want to try with the Ripper that I'm going to showcase on the video here, but let's actually go over to Sanctuary and test all the weapons out. First weapon let's talk about is the Tiggs boom. Now the Tiggs boom is a very cool weapon, and makes me really excited for Wonderlands because this is a gun that has a chance to spawn a meteor, and you guys know that meteors are a very cool spell that's going to be in Wonderlands, and I'm very hyped about Wonderlands. Who isn't really? But this gun allows you to actually summon meteors when you hit people, which is just spectacular. And it kind of makes me want to make a Wonderlands type build or something in Borderlands 3 because of this, with the firestorm or something. But let's not talk about that. This weapon does deal splash damage, like the pellets itself deal splash damage, and the meteors that spawn deal splash damage as well. It can spawn in fire, shock, corrosive, cryo, and radiation. And of course you can get splash annoyance, as I have it right here. The max damage that you can get is going to be 8.3k for all the elements except for radiation and cryo, with times 18 projectiles. It can spawn in multiple different projectiles. List projectiles it can spawn in will be 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, and 18. You want to try to find an 18. With cryo, it'll have max damage of 8.8, and I think radiations, it's 7.9 or just 8k. So as you see right here, it doesn't have a lot of magazine, but what it does have is the awesome meteors effects that spawn, and I believe every single bullet that hits the enemy has a chance to actually spawn the meteor. And another cool effect is that you can barely see it, but you'll notice that the bullets can actually pierce. So right off there, and I downed myself with the meteor, but right there, you saw the bullets can pierce through enemies, so that's very useful in case you want to use it like that. It's a very fun weapon, and I'll show myself killing some enemies with it on the field because it's really spectacular piece of work. It's really good at mobbing. The bossing could be a little bit better, but we could of course kill Graveward pretty decently with this one. Speaking of bossing, the Flood is pretty decent at bossing if you have Moze, of course, because you can just shoot for a very long time. So this is a fully automatic Jacobs, and it has the generic Jacob effects. When you critical hit with it, it's going to ricochet a bullet to a nearby enemy. It's pretty bare bones. It doesn't spawn in any elements. It's just non-elemental, and that's pretty much it. The max damage is going to be 35k, very easy right there. And it's a very fun weapon because you can just hold it down and it just shoots so fast. The magazine size could probably be a little bit better, but we can of course use Moze with some for the road to allow us to just hold it down indefinitely like this, and it just looks absolutely crazy. Unfortunately, the hand does get right into your face, so it's kind of hard to see what's happening, but it's okay. It's a really fun pistol. If you want a fun Jacobs pistol just mess around with, I totally would recommend just using it because it's really fun. But let's head over to the next weapon, which will then be the Ripper. Now, the Ripper looks very cool. It kind of makes me think of Graveborn. They might have intentionally done multiple items that are similar to the features that we get in Wonderlands, except for the Flood. I can't think of anything with the Flood, but this looks like a cool little effect that Graveborn has. Pretty much what this weapon can do is when you melee someone, you're going to deal 2 times damage with your bullets to the enemy, which is very, very cool. But the actual damage of the gun isn't too spectacular. The max damage that you can get on it will be the 11.9k on all elements except for Cryo and Radiation. Cryo will have 12.6k, while Radiation will have 11.4k, I believe. It can have list projectiles of 1 to 2, and it can spawn in kinetic, fire, shock, corrosive, cryo, and radiation. I'll give credit where credit is due. It does look very cool, and when you shoot it, it has a little blood splatter that comes out of the gun, or should I say the correct term, bloom or boom or something like that. I forget what the gun flare is called on the tip of the gun, but it has a very nice aesthetic, and I don't think you can actually get the effect that I was talking about by meleeing the actual Jack clone. No, it doesn't look like it, but you get the melee debuff on an enemy for 5 seconds after you melee them, and I've heard speculation that you can actually proc it with the Stinger, so I'm going to test that onto the field actually. Let's go over to Athena's just so we can test that real quick, because I'm interested to see if this actually interacts properly. So we can see baseline that the bullets of this is going to deal 21k. I turned off my Guardian rank so we have a more bare bones test, but if I were to activate my Stinger on the guy, let's see if it increases to 42k. Or it should increase to around that amount. And I accidentally killed him. I might need to go to Captain Tron actually, hold on. So we can see right off the bat the damage is around 6k. Just regular shots on the actual boss, but if I were to activate Stinger, we can see that the damage gets to 26k, which is a large difference, honestly, for a 2k difference. like we're supposed to have like just 2 times more damage, but it seems like it was increased by a lot more. So it seems like it actually does work on the Stinger, which is nice. I didn't think it would, but it's nice that we now know that it does work with the Stinger, but I wouldn't really consider it to be really that great because most enemies die immediately with the Stinger unless you're fighting bosses. But it's a nice piece of tech in case you want to use the Reaper. Now let's head over to Graveward so we can actually test out the other 2 weapons as well. First things first, let's test out the Flood just because I know it's going to kill Graveward really quickly because it's going to proc Minesweeper really quickly, so it shouldn't be any surprise to anyone. So I'm going to do the same setup as normal. I'm going to enter Exit Iron Bear, debuff him a little with whatever that ability's called, I forgot what it is, but and then activate Elemental Projector, and then we're just going to lace into Graveward with our Flood here, and it dealt a lot of damage. It did a lot of damage just baseline, it seemed, which is great because that's what Jacobs are supposed to do a lot of crit damage. So that was an excellent example. I felt like a lot of that damage was not Minesweeper, so that was great. And then let's head over to the Tiggs boom so you can see what it can do. So once again, I'm going to do the same exact setup. I'm going to enter Exit Iron Bear real quick, and then we're just going to lace into the boss after we activate Elemental Projector, which I did successfully right there. And we're just going to spam like that, just right there. We dealt lots of damage. The Tiggs boom's awesome. I don't think we got to really see the meteors on Graveward, but we probably got a bunch of meteors to proc right there. It's definitely a really fun gun. You definitely want to try it out. All these weapons are honestly really fun, and some of them make me think of the aesthetics of Wonderlands, which might be what they're going for, but definitely get the Tiggs boom if you're interested in the best weapon in the machine right now. Otherwise, get the Flood. It's the second best, especially if you're playing Flak. It deals pretty decent damage. It just doesn't have a huge magazine size, which is the big unfortunate part. And then the Ripper if you want to try that cool little Stinger setup if you're interested in that at all. And as always, a big shout out to the members who make these videos possible. We have Galaxy, Jason Noodles, Clairvoyance, and 31bar70. These are the people who support me as little as $5 a month, and you can also support me as little as $5 a month by becoming a member by clicking the link in the comments or description or on the top right. The more members we have, the closer I get to becoming full-time, which will means more video for you guys. So if you can, please support me, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.